Hello, my name is Jerry, and I'd like to talk about weekly percentage gains and monthly percentage gains. Um, these are two columns that I have on the watch list, and they're shown up as Wk percent and Mos percent. And initially I took the columns that James Boyd had for weekly and monthly, and I put them on steroids. These are the the script is identical for both of them, but in one case we're using daily bars. This is using daily aggregation for weeklies, and on the monthly percentage gains we're using weekly aggregations. And the significance, this is a weekly aggregation, the significance is that I can look down this column and I basically go back 5 days and say compute the gain, and there's the gain. It was 7.5% for the week. If I go down the monthly chart, or the monthly column, I go out back 4 weeks, and that is the week, that is the monthly percentage gain for that particular stock. So that's kind of where that's as much as basically James had in his, but all these other colors in the Wk percent and Mos percent plus, if you will, they are special. And there's a number of other webcasts that go along to describe these, and so I'm not going to spend too much time going into that because you need to look at there, but they come under the categories of what's actually happening on the chart. So in this particular for this particular video, suffice to say, if you sort the column based on weekly percentage gain, this is what you're going to get. So from the top to bottom, you can see for the week, CVX had the best weekly percentage gain of any of the stocks in the list. And if you sort it by monthly, you can see that Ford actually had, that's surprising, Ford and Tesla had the top percentage gains in there. So the background colors in the column represent significant events that took place on either a specific day, and you're in the case of the weekly percentage gain, or in the case of a specific week in the monthly percentage gain. So if you come down the list and you happen to see a bright green color, let's look at this one, this weekly color right here. That means that we've had a golden cross. That means that the 10-day EMA has just crossed through the 30-day simple moving average. And I like to use golden crosses. That's a golden cross, and if we can find one that's bright red, that is the death cross. So depending on what you're looking for, if you see a bright green or a bright red background, that means that. So if we happen to pick this one over here, this is for AbbVie. AbbVie's had a really bad time, and then we go to the weekly chart. We go to the weekly chart. Here's a 3-year weekly chart of AbbVie. Lo and behold, it's had a really tough time, and so it's had a golden cross at the weekly level. So the 30 weekly EMA has just crossed below, the 10-week EMA has just crossed below the 30-week EMA. This is very bearish for AbbVie. So I'm going to put this back into dailies. We're over here looking at the dailies. So those are the bright red, if you will, and bright green colors. If you find a bright blue color, or a blue color, that means you're looking at a white dot. and I'm going to see if I can find one that has, we have blue colors with white numbers in there, and we have blue colors with black numbers. So if we have a blue background with a black numbers in it, it means that we're looking at a white dot that's very bullish. It means that we are seeing a 15-day hull reverse direction to the upside, and we are either in a strongly bearish market posture or a slightly bullish market posture. And that's what the and this is typically the precursor. This blue color on the bottom side is typically a precursor of a move to the upside, potentially a breakout through diagonal resistance. On the other hand, if you should see a blue color, a blue background with a white characters, it means that we are on the top side and we are breaking down. So again, we are seeing a falling, we're seeing the 15-day hull transition to the downside, and either we are, and the market is extremely bullish, the market posture is extremely bullish or slightly bearish, and that's what the magenta, that's what the white dot means, and that's what the blue color means. If you see a magenta background and it has white letters in it, let's see if I can find a magenta that's white versus black. Oh my, it looks to me like we can go, here we go. Here's a magenta that is black versus a magenta that is white. So magenta that has black letters means that the 10-day, there's a black magenta, this means that the 10-day hull has just crossed up through the 20-day hull on the chart, and we are extremely bearish, has extremely bearish market posture or a slightly bullish market posture. So typically the white dots and the magenta arrows, they kind of go hand in hand. You're going to see those happen oftentimes pretty close to each other. So if you find one that has a magenta with white arrows or white colors, white characters, it's on the top side going down. So, and that's what that's telling us, is that the 10-day hull has just crossed below the 20-day hull, and we have an extremely bullish market posture, or we have a slightly bearish market posture for that particular condition. So the only color we have left is this golden color, and golds are Caholds. Those are Cahold symbols. And if you see a golden color with a black letters in it, that is that's James Boyd's definition for a strong Cahold pattern. And it means that either one or both of the, let's zoom in on this guy, one or both of the hull moving averages has a green upward slope. And it also means that, by my definition, I've added also a strongly, it wasn't a strongly bearish market posture at the time, or slightly bullish market posture at the time, and that's what this means. If you see a Cahold, and this, you see those as a little green dot with a white bar that's underneath it. So there aren't too many of these, but in this particular case, we've been getting lots of hits here off of Chevron for last week. If you should see a Cahold that has white letters, that's an ordinary Cahold in my definition. And if we look Wait a minute, where to go? Get me back up here. So here is for UPS. For UPS, there's the green dot that says we've just had a close above the high of the low day, and if I look back up here I can see where this is the high of the low day right there. So that is a break to the upside from there. Let's find another simple hold. It's right here for Met. Here it is again, a couple, not sure if that's a red bar. Yes, there's a red bar right there, and it just closed above that. So all holds are bullish, and I will say like I say, the script for both of them is identical, with the exception of the type of aggregation that we're using for the computations. And this particular script is the most complicated one that I've ever written, and I've had to go through it a number of times so that it would work correctly and not get bogged down. So there's a lot of stuff going inside this script to show the gains plus all of these patterns that are showing up, but I wanted to be able to find a spot that I could show it both at the weekly level and at the monthly level, because you can clearly see this kind of stuff taking place. And all these watch lists will handle up to 100 stocks. It'll handle the full 100 symbols in the S&P. Again, the details for each of the background colors are described in other videos. So, and those are described in way more detail as to what they really mean and what the significance really means. But having that information so it easily is available from the watch list is something I really wanted to have, and so it took me a while to do it, but I think it's a very useful feature. It's interesting to look down. As I look down here, I see all these blues, and I see they're all black, and I'm intrigued by what is happening out here on all of these. I'm not going to go look right now, but it's out there. There's a lot of symbols that are sitting there, breaking off of a weekly bar. You can see from these charts here how these white dots are sitting there, bam, 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 bam. So this is like a turnaround. Now the question is, could it continue beyond this level of resistance right here? That remains to be seen. But the fact is, we had a hold the prior week, and this week we had a significant bounce off of. We had a significant blue dot, white dot that just showed up. In any case, that is the conclusion of the discussion on the weekly percentage gain and monthly percentage gains.